Greetings, everyone, and good morning, or evening, or afternoon, depends on where you are in the world. Welcome to episode 7 of the Dharma Bum Show. Thank you so much for joining me for yet another episode, another video. My co hosts are here with me today, here on this lovely summer day here in the dog park, coming to you once again. So we have just talk about some stuff. We haven't done any videos in a while, and I'm really sorry about that. Me and the boys are here in Northern California, and here in Northern California, it has been particularly warm. Let's just say we've gone about 25 days in a row. Prior to this, it's over now, finally. But we went about 25 days in a row where the temperature was the high temperature of the day was 105 or above, um, and as high as 115 a few times. So it was daunting to survive that living outdoors, a little bit rough. And so we weren't able to do any videos. But the weather has cooled down considerably. It's very seasonable, very nice, beautiful, kind of typical summer day here in Northern California. And it looks like it will be that way for a while. So I predict that my uh, ability to produce videos will increase with the better weather. So thank you for being patient for this next video. Some channel news. Just want to thank, as always, thank everybody who has liked and the videos and subscribed to the channel since the last video. Really appreciate all the love. The channel is really taking off. It really makes it worth doing it, to have people really dig the content. So thank you so much, as always, for all the love on the channel. Um, and finally, but far from least, the financial donors have been incredible. I mean, I don't know what to say. It really warms my heart. But thank you. That really helped us a lot, not only to get through the last almost month of really uh, quite daunting sort of environmental conditions, weather and whatnot, but allowed us to really set up the channel properly and to be able to continue to produce really what I hope are good quality videos that you guys like and want to listen to. So thank you so much to the financial donors. There's no way to thank you enough. And in these hard economic times, we really do appreciate that. We understand everybody is hurting, and we really appreciate that. It's been a lot of love in that department, and you all know who you are. I try to comment on the various fundraiser pages and whatnot, and say hi to you all. I don't like to call people out in public. People have a right to donate anonymously, and so you know who you are, and thank you so much for all the love. We really do appreciate it. We will continue to grow this channel and to make more videos. Today's video is going to be about, and I don't even know the title yet. I haven't come up with a title yet, but it's how to get a free academic Buddhist education. Um, and this will include all of the things we're going to talk about will be free, to have a free version, and some of them also have a paid version where you can get a certificate and even college credits for these courses. All of them are easy to take online. Several of them have apps in the Play Store. We'll look at least one really good educational app. All of these sites that I'm going to direct you to are excellent educational sites providing courses and course material. And the links will, for everything we discussed today, will be um, in the description below. So let's get down to it. First of all, let's talk about education, academic education, right? It's important, right? Buddhism, especially, and Lama Choga has talked about this in some of his videos that I've watched recently, discussed the idea that Buddhism is pretty heavy on the study end of things, okay? So you need to study. And we talked in the core practice video that I did about what you need to do to sort of study scripture and the various scriptures, and we linked to those in the core practice video. But now, but aside from that, a good academic education in general is a good thing in any religious practice, and it's especially good in Buddhism. So let's get down to it. Let's take a look at some stuff here. So this here is Khan Academy. And I have been using Khan Academy on and off for several years now. Um, what I recommend, where you begin, where you start your sort of Buddhist academic education, surprisingly enough, is with the sciences. And this is where Khan Academy really excels. I recommend that you study physics on Khan Academy, quantum physics on Khan Academy, mathematics on Khan Academy, and Western philosophy. These are things, and you can stop the video and rewind that, and I'll say them again for you. But you should study uh, physics, quantum physics, mathematics, and Western philosophy, at least. And there's a million things you can study. Their Asian art course is fantastic, and will actually step you through a lot of Buddhist art history. So, so Khan Academy for a good basic sort of, and this is good whether or not you already have a Western education. I mean, if you went to college, you probably covered a lot of this stuff. Maybe you can skip this. That's cool. That's fine. But if if you weren't lucky enough to get a college education and get grounded in sort of the basics of Western education, then Khan Academy is a good place to get it really grounded. There's testing, um, videos, reading material, all sorts of stuff, and the courses are very well designed. I can vouch for them. I've taken many Khan Academy courses. So ground yourself in a good, solid Western education, and especially with regard to Buddhism, you want to study physics, quantum physics, mathematics, and Western. Get grounded in Western philosophy, because we're going to talk about how you can study Eastern philosophy. And you might say, well, why don't you just jump right into Eastern philosophy? Well, because this is, in case you don't have a basic background in Western philosophy. If you took, say, a bachelor's degree in any of the arts, you probably had to take some philosophy courses. I took extra ones because I liked it. I liked the subject. But and so you're grounded in that, and you're ready to go to the next step. But this is for those who maybe weren't so blessed to have that collegiate experience at the universities, and so maybe you need to catch up a little bit. So Khan Academy, great place. They have an incredible app here on the Play Store, which really makes it super easy. You know, you can do a lot of your homework and your assignments. You can be doing those on your phone, on your mobile to go. And so very convenient way to do business. Now, stepping off now from that foundation into Buddhism proper. And I recommend this. This is for beginners in a sense. I mean, if you're just starting out and you really need to um, sort of get a good wide view of what is Buddhism, the history of it, and everything. Um, but I just want to point out that this course that I'm about to show you also is an excellent course, and the courses that follow it in the syllabus are excellent also for people who have been in Buddhism for a long time. And the reason I say that is especially their beginner's course, strangely enough, is one that I recommend all the real, like, sort of if you think you're like an expert on Buddhism, I recommend you do a read through the syllabus anyway, because they have some amazing ways of explaining some of the more arcane aspects of Buddhism. Very, very good explanations of some things that sometimes, especially for beginning Buddhists or Western converts, can be very daunting concepts. So they have some great ways of breaking stuff down and explaining stuff, and you might, even an advanced learner, can really learn from this course. So this website here is buddhanet.net. I know, a little bit redundant, right? But it's called buddhanet.net. I have been coming to this website for years. This is I think one of the first websites I ever surfed when 15 years ago, when I started getting interested in Buddhism. They have also an app you can see right here on the front page. But what we're interested in for the purpose of this video is the Buddhist studies. So we'll just go to the Buddhist studies main page here. And then there it is. This is their syllabuses. I recommend you begin, like I said, even if you think you're fairly advanced in your knowledge of Buddhism, begin with Basic Buddhism Guide right here at the top, and you go over here, and then you just have a syllabus and you read through it. And I recommend you do it in order. There's no testing to this course, but just step through. You can see the little links here. Step through the steps of that course, and then go on to the next thing. You get your online study guide, Buddhism studies for primary and secondary students, Buddhist scriptures, and basic Buddhist teachings. So but try to step through, especially if you're a Western convert, a new Western convert, step through this basic Buddhism guide. It is 100% worth going through this syllabus. You will really gain a good, solid, broad overview, and also have some of the more daunting concepts explained to you in a way that at least you can grasp and get it, and you're not put off by the explanations. So that is buddhanet.net, 100% free. I'm sure they do accept donations somewhere on their main site, but there's no talk of payment or anything for stepping through any of their syllabuses, but definitely their basic Buddhism guide is 100% worth it, and a great way to sort of get into more formal academic reading of Buddhism, as opposed to scriptures and ancient commentaries and stuff. That reads a little bit different than academic reading, where there's reference material, and even you can go look up videos and stuff like that, right? So this is academic education, but you're doing it for free and on your own. All right, so moving on, then after you've sort of gone through that, I recommend you do this in the same order I'm sort of explaining it, and I'll put it in that order in the description, the links in the description below. But so anyway, the next one is called the Center of Excellence, and they are a really, really good online educational system. They have both a free and a paid offering. The free offering allows you to audit the entire course, no problem. I think you're even allowed to take the tests. I'm not sure if it stores your test data on for a long time, but it's sort of like an audit of the course for free. And then if you want, this course also comes with college credits that are universal college credits, and a diploma. And for that, the price is all over the place. If you sign up, first of all, you'll get discount coupons and everything. You can get the price down to around, with the coupons and everything, you can get the price down to, say, $35 to $50 for a lifetime access to the course material and a certificate of completion. I think you also get all your test scores saved, transcripts, that sort of thing. So you get the full meal deal for a lifetime payment, and it can range anywhere from $35 to $50 once you sign up, um, and more if you're just if you've already been, say you're already on Center of Excellence or whatever. But it's actually worth it. I think the most it can cost you is 170 for a lifetime membership to that course and that material and the certificate. Um, but 100% worth it, but accessible for free. And so we'll just take a look. This is the Buddhist diploma course. Um, Again, ignore this because this goes down. This price goes way down once you sign up and stuff like that. And so it's 10 modules. You earn reward points at Center of Excellence. It's an accredited course, and it's a pretty basic. It's basic Buddhism. It'll have stuff like it'll focus heavily on things like history, um, and the sites of Buddhism, the physical sites of Buddhism, where they are, and then the history of the schools of Buddhism in a very basic way. It will talk about that. Excellent place to start. And again, if you're looking to collect a certificate for further study in academia on Buddhism, that's available. And if you just want the knowledge, that's available for free. So moving on from that, see, look, they're all the time offering you discounts. So don't be shocked, sticker shocked by the prices you see on here. And to be honest with you, 170 bucks is not that much to get a really, really good college level Buddhist course. So, all right, moving onward, this is turgar.org. We've got to give the thing a second and it's a part of Vajrayana Online. I'll link to this in the description below. This is the next course I recommend you step off to after you finish those other two. You can begin now to go from main Buddhism, just sort of the study of Buddhism, and begin to focus on, because we're Vajrayana converts, right? So this is a really good place to start that exploration. That this is the foundations of Tibetan Buddhism, which I really don't like that term. And I just want to stop for a second to say that you're going to hear this a lot from me in person and online. I really don't like the term Tibetan Buddhism. It's very parochial. It's very inaccurate. It's Vajrayana Buddhism, and it has completely independent branch in the Himalayas, but also a completely independent branch in China and Japan as well. And I think possibly Korea. I may be wrong about that, but I know there's a Japanese Mahayana, a Vajrayana school that, and they all developed independently, and even the Himalayan one is spread up across many countries. The Himalayan Vajrayana school is spread across everywhere from Mustang and Nepal all the way to Ladakh and Bhutan. So it's not just about Tibet. And to be honest with you, in my study of the history of Vajrayana Buddhism, Tibet plays a key role later on in the development of many of the Himalayan practices, but it is not particularly keystone. And a word about the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama is not a pope, okay? It's very important for Western converts to be very crystal clear on that he's, even first among equals is stretching it, okay? Because all lamas, even our Lama Choga, are in some sense equal, okay, and independent and autonomous, okay. And so the idea that, and I think that the Dalai Lama himself may have done some things and acted in some ways that sort of lent credence to this mistaken concept of him as a pope. I think he's very infatuated with popes, to be honest with you. He's actually mentioned that he wishes the Dalai Lama could be elected by like a conclave and stuff like that. And I think he's also very enamored, or somewhat enamored, of the power structure of the Catholic Church. It's very easy, right? The Pope just waves his hand and everybody obeys. So not to diss the Dalai Lama, he's a beautiful man, but I think that in some senses that at least the idea, the Western concept of that office has strayed considerably from what it really is. And understand too, also one final point, the Dalai Lama is no longer the head of state of Tibet. He forsook that. They rewrote the constitution of Tibet, and when he was asked why he did it, he said, because I don't want to end up someday like Mubarak, who was the dictator who got ran out of Egypt on the end of massive pro-democracy protests. So the Dalai Lama now is simply the head of, I believe it's the Kayuga lineage. He's just simply the head of his lineage, the head of his monasteries. He's a very important Lama, a very big Lama, a very powerful Lama in the scheme of Vajrayana, but he's certainly not a pope of either Vajrayana or Buddhism in general. He's one of many important leaders in Buddhism, but Buddhism is very much a horizontal faith as opposed to a vertical faith. And that's, I think that's important as you begin to approach all of this, including your academic education, that you understand that. So this is the Foundations of Tibetan Buddhism. It's an online Buddhism course. They too have a free offering where you can audit the material. They have a mainline offering, which gives you lifetime and I believe a certificate and that sort of thing, access to the course material. And then they have an if you're poor offering, like if you just, and they don't say it like that, but it's basically, it's a much cheaper offering. I think it's as low as $25 for lifetime access that you can offer if you're just can't afford the main fee. So they're quite cool about it in that sense, and I like that structure. I like options. I would choose the poor option. I'm not ashamed of my poverty. I embrace my poverty. So anyway, that's that. And this is a pretty basic but comprehensive course on Tibetan Buddhism. It will step you through the history of Vajrayana. Again, pay attention to the parts where it talks about Vajrayana in China and Japan, and those are completely separate uh, evolutions of that one main faith. That's pretty amazing to think about, because again, people get so trapped in Tibetan Buddhism, Vajrayana Buddhism is only from the Himalayas and then spread everywhere else, but it's not true. It evolved throughout Asia simultaneously in many places, including China and Japan. All right, folks, so now we come to a organization that is of a equal class of excellence with Khan Academy. It is an open source nonprofit educational platform online called edx.org. An absolutely fantastic resource. The courses again tend to be free audit, and then also you can pay for credits and a certificate, college credits sometimes, oftentimes. And this they work, edX works with various like Khan Academy, edX works with various universities and schools. In this case, Columbia University has teamed up with edX to produce a series of courses called Columbia X courses, and this one is the Indian and Tibetan River of Buddhism. It is, I believe, taught by, yes, my dear friend Robert Thurman. I say that with a bit of sarcasm because you know folks that have mixed feelings about him, but he does teach really, really good, especially Tibetan Buddhism. With this course, the Indian and Tibetan River of Buddhism, we really begin now to hone in beyond the broader Vajrayana Buddhism, which, as I stated before, goes from China to Japan. Now we begin to home in on the Himalayan Vajrayana Buddhism that we are so familiar with, and that is so erroneously labeled as Tibetan Buddhism. And so this course is just absolutely excellent. Robert Thurman is just, he does many things good and bad, but one thing he does well is explain Tibetan Buddhism. So it's a great course with both that free and paid offering. And last but not least, we're going to go over to ClassCentral.com. And this is where we put the icing on the cake, guys. And also we come full circle in a way. This is Buddhist philosophy taught by a wonderful Indian professor from UGC. And this class on Buddhist philosophy really will depend upon your foundation in Western philosophy. It is almost impossible to study the philosophy of a foreign worldview, or like Asian philosophy or Buddhist philosophy, without also having a solid foundation in Western philosophy. And this goes back to where we began. We began this video with Khan Academy, and I recommended 4 courses of study there, and one of them was Western philosophy. And I recommend you do that because if you don't have that, if you don't already have it from your collegiate education, then go get it at Khan Academy. And then when you get to the final end of our journey, you will be very well prepared to dig into Buddhist philosophy and make sense out of that, because you understand just even what is philosophy and what are the tools of philosophy in general, such as dialectic and argument and things like that. So, so yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Uh, if you do these things that I've outlined, and you go through this course of study to the end, you will reach a point of completion where you will have an academic education that, to my mind, is pretty close to the equivalent of a bachelor's degree in Buddhism. And you can complete the entire set of courses. I'm going to link to them in the order that I went through them in the description, and you can go through it in perhaps a year if you hurry, 2 years if you take your time, and again, really have a solid uh, academic foundation in Buddhism. And every single step of the way there, you can accomplish this for free. It's very, very important, because I have my fellow Dharma bums. I've heard from fellow Dharma bums all the way from Thailand to Australia, and here in America as well. So it's important to always keep in mind that not everybody can come up with money to pay for certificates and college credits, and so there has to be that free offering. Every single one of those has that free aspect to it, where you can gain access to the knowledge without giving up a lot of money. So thank you very much for joining me here today for yet another episode of the Dharma Bum Show. I'll come up with some snappy, appropriate title for this video, but it's about free academic Buddhist education. I hope it was helpful. I hope the links in the description are helpful. Please remember to like and subscribe if you found this this offering useful. My boys are here at my feet, but they're kind of hiding out in the shade. It's getting a bit warm here this late in the morning here in Northern California. But we, all 3 of us, offer you our blessing. May your day be auspicious. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you again soon.